Chodam Soki Chonam La Jamtru Baru Dami Kyapsu Chi Dagi Chunyan Gi Pesonam Gi Drola Penchir Sangye Drupasho Chodam Soki Chonam La Jamtru Baru Dami Kyapsu Chi Dagi Chunyan Gi Pesonam Gi Drola Penchir Sangye Drupasho Chodam Soki Choknam La Jamtru Baru Dagni Kyapsu Chi Dagi Chunyan Gi Pesonam Gi Drola Penchir Sangye Drupasho
Getting hot.
In Geshe Ngawang room it's hot.
Yeah, it is solving of change.
It's going to snow tomorrow though.
No, Friday.
2 inches of snow, 6 inches in Worcester.
I heard a foot.
Yeah.
More slow.
1 feet.
I heard a foot in Worcester. That's what I heard.
I heard monsoon.
30 centimeter.
That's not a good choice.
No.
Okay, anyway. Everybody share a motivation. He said, in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. 70 words, okay? Not just say words. Think about meaning of it. Every time when we do recite this mantra, Nama mantra, what is it? Prayer verses. This is shows how you set up motivation. Then today we are not talking too much things. We have to meditation to Shamatha.
We're doing Shamatha?
Yeah, me Shamatha, Shini.
Yeah, Shamatha.
Shamatha. Because we talked the last week, we doesn't go details. Today is Shini do the kitchen race. Shini.
So the establishment of serenity, of Shamatha meditation is incredibly important. So there are Nyepa faults. Yeah, there are 5 faults in establishing that might arise, I guess, for establishing serenity. So these 5 faults are listed in the Dodegyen, the Mahayana Sutra Alamkara by Asanga. And what was the other one? You said Dodegyen and what else?
Yeah, Dodegyen.
They're from Dodegyen. So today we are going to talk about how to abandon those faults and not to have mistakes in the meditation.
Maybe first to be not identified 5 faults, right?
Yeah. So everyone heard that, right? Okay, so he's given me actually the list of the 5 faults here. The first one is at the time of meditating in samadhi, so that's like equipoise meditation, so concentrated meditation. Gelkyen. So the conditions that are adverse to meditating in equipoise are laziness. That's the first one.
Obstacle.
Yeah, obstacle. Gelkyen.
Gotcha.
Literally, it means a condition.
Yeah.
Kyen is a condition, and gel means like opposed to or opposite. So it's like an adverse condition. So if you have laziness, it's an obstacle, but literally it means an adverse condition. You're not going to be able to achieve concentrated meditation if you're lazy.
내가 담보 때 레로레스 다 레로 때다 벼보이 말을 와.
Yeah, this laziness isn't good. That's no good.
아니 다 레로 있는 것도 그린다 다 공자도 말어.
If we have this laziness, there's no way that we can meditate.
Oh, we need to practice anything. Laziness. Best friend to sleep. 근데 대라 담보 다대 담보들에서 이거 레로 때 거짓말이지.
So the very first one is this laziness.
아니 니바다 땡에도 공부했어. 다 방어제 봤어.
Which one?
Second one.
Oh, Jamnam Cheba. Okay, so sorry, let me take a drink. The second fault is forgetting the instructions.
Forget instruction means, for example, you meditation whatever you meditation, something you have object, then you forget object. Right? Sometimes object go, we just think that man go to other place. This will be called Dhammajepa.
So forgetting the instruction can be glossed with forgetting the object of observation.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm turning into a frog.
Last week you give me water. Maybe today I give you water. Anyway, Dhammajepa means not just the forgetting the instruction, the text means you forget this object. If you meditation some shamatha, the meditation you in the statue, you try to, but you forget the statue, you must go other place. This one called to Dhammajepa.
Yeah, forgetting the instruction.
Okay? 다 대니 받지. 다 선바데 띵인데 곰비지. 다 시와도 개바시마스.
Yeah, so then the third one is at the time of trying to meditate equipoise or focused meditation, Jingwa and Guba. So those are, sinking and literally it means sinking, and the other one is excitement or agitation.
Yeah.
So
Those are paired together.
yeah, these are a pair together. So I guess the easiest way to gloss them in English, although I'm sure he'll explain them, is like the one is erring on the side of kind of falling asleep, and the other one is erring on the side of being too awake, where your mind is like crazy.
So extremes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of- Just example, you can check something. Just we say, I don't know, we got meditation. We do meditation. Sometimes we fall asleep. This is Shiva.
Yeah, that's sinking. Yeah.
Sometimes then other, the mind doesn't come down. We want to go to all the world. This is also Gepa.
Yeah. So agitation, excitement, I guess.
Sometimes you see laxity and excitement.
Yeah, laxity and excitement. Yeah, those are good.
Okay? If you are done, it's not that Shiva, the Shigu Shimiti, that Nibo Matemba, Nibo Demichi Patana. That Shiva, the Gepa Shima, that Nibo Temuris, that Nibo Matemba.
Oh yeah. So the fourth one is not applying the antidote. So to laxity and excitement, sinking and excitement. However,
This kind of two man come in. For sometimes we very sleeping, too bored. Then other one man check the man's where house going. Then they come sleep. They have to, we call it immediately. We call it come down.
yeah, apply the antidote, right?
Yeah.
Nyembo.
Yeah, Nyembo Temuris.
Yeah. So you need to apply the antidote to those. So there is training, like when you start to feel sleepy, there's something you can do to actually counter that. I don't think slapping or something. Nyembo di pe karli. Nyembo pe.
다 빼놓아가지고 다 가지. 다 가서 니 그것도 와 간지 마지. 다 니어 세월에서 가지 마지. 다 그냥 니 그러가 나와라 따니 파니되나? 근데 다 니쇼로 와. 다 니야 니 그냥 뭐 양주야 세야지 그랬어. 다 피지 그랬어 와. 간지 니가 와도 마다 먹고 그랬어. 셈마 심대로 깔래카네. 근데 sometimes we try. We say, oh, forget it. Then we see. Then 시외 니뭐 마다 말했어.
Yeah.
시마 sorry.
You need to cover the nyembo pe karli.
니뭐
Nyembo karli.
다 니보다 매워져 봐. 니 그거로 니가 세주나? 다그 니보 니 매워서 살아다.
Okay, so anyway, I was asking him for an example of the antidotes. So he said, well, you know, for one, at first what he said is, well, for one, like when you start to feel sleepy, like, and then you just decide like to go completely under the influence of that sleep and you end up laying down and falling asleep, that's not applying the antidote. So he misunderstood my question, so I clarified, like, no, I want a specific example of what the antidote is, and then he said the antidote is like when you start to feel sleepy, to wake yourself up and not feel sleepy, like to stay awake. So it still feels like,
No trick.
yeah, not a clear answer, but for me, then kare chegoris.
다 가려다 가도 샘마 심대로 와. 샘 전에 가도 밑바들 때나 다 밑바 제토체 다 녀도 자드나 양주 파슈 슈 되네.
So he's saying like when you start to feel depressed, like mentally dull, like you're kind of sinking down, and then you might start losing your object, to kind of reinforce your focus and reapply your mind very strongly to the object.
This man too work on. Too sleepy work on.
Yeah, like shumba, right?
Yeah, shumba.
Yeah, like depressed mind. Not like sad, but depressed in terms of it feels heavy and
Yeah, heavy.
and sinking. Like that's why they call it sinking. Your mind feels dull, like kind of that sluggishness, that mental sluggishness that comes before sleep. That's what they're talking about.
근데 시험지 다 개발한다. 샘 맞고 맞도 아무리 거리 좀 보면 다 뒤가려야 샘 수탁고 그러더라고.
So excitement means like this is a funny Tibetan phrase. Like your mind is circumambulating samsara, like it's going around the entire thing. But literally, what this means is like kind of a world tour mentally. Like you're supposed to be focusing on the object here, but you're in France, or you're thinking about your cousin in Florida, and then you're talking about, you know, the wallpaper with yourself or something. He's saying the antidote to that is to grab your mind and pull it down and hold it on the object.
배나 단다 줘도 딱 때는 삼성 줘도 니 쇼도 이 쇼시 얘기도 왔어. 삼성. 삼성 정도 딱 나도 강가래 주년 삼로네. 내가 나도 니 쇼도 왔어. 이 포스에.
주년서.
Yeah, we have to go. We went teaching place. We lesson that we have sleep.
Oh, yeah, I get
Right?
it. Yeah, yeah. So he's saying, like, I'm sure you guys understood it now too, but he was saying sometimes even when you're listening to the Dharma, you're listening to the teaching, it's possible to fall asleep too.
Right? During that time, you doesn't focus the teaching, whatever he talk about. You just, you know, this we are all happen, you know.
Yeah.
During that time, you have to focus.
Yeah.
This is the Shiva.
Yeah. So that's sinking. That's an example of sinking. So
Gepa, you just said that, but your mind just go to tomorrow's plane, next week's plane.
yeah.
Your mind doesn't stay here. This is the Gepa. And they either come in, we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we have to apply the antidote to them when they come up.
땡이 시바들라 시시세죠. 다 시시세 시바치 굿다우스.
양결성은
시즌 샤노시다 시바리죠. This one can man. He check this. The Shiva coming or Gepa coming. One man checking.
Yeah. So this is
One policeman.
Yeah.
Policeman called Shijan.
Yeah, this is good. I don't remember the Sheishin. Yeah. So this is Sheishin is like a mental faculty of introspection. So it means like while you are going about your life during the day, like let's say talking to somebody or cooking food or doing something, one little part of your mind is reserved to keep an eye on your mind.
Checking. Police guy.
So Sheishin is like introspection, but it doesn't mean that's your entire mind 100% is looking, what am I thinking? But a little part of your mind is always keeping an eye on what your mind is doing. So that Sheishin, that part of your mind, the introspection, is the one that can identify when sinking or excitement occur.
다 간점에 시와도 개판이 있어. 다들 시와 된 봤어. 순바디. 시기.
Yeah, so this is
어이 시와. 니뭐 뭐지 봐도.
yeah, Shiva, right?
다 나와도 다 시기나 잔에 샘 미발아 냐바 샤도 가라야. 다 그래. 양데 시와도 개판 니뭐 때나 생각하다 샤워해서.
This the Chingawa, the Shiva, right?
야, 시와.
So he
시와도 개판 시와 니뭐 뭐지 봐도 시와듯이.
Okay, so this one, the sinking and excitement, laxity and excitement, this is the number 4. Specifically laxity and excitement and not applying the antidote, wrong?
Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. 4.
친구 중외체 nyembo dumiche. Yeah, so not applying the antidote when sinking and excitement appear. That's number 4, the 4th fault.
How far this should go the Charlie? No Shiva, no Gepa. The meditation very well.
Yeah.
But doing that also you do some antidote. This is also Austin.
Yeah. So the 5th one here, it says that even though your meditation is free from sinking and excitement, and you are managing to abide single-pointedly on the object, so you've got your mind focused well on the object, but you're still applying the antidotes. So this is also a fault, like over-application of the antidote. So I think the point here is like when the mind is too loose, like so if you allow yourself to go under the sway of sinking, you'll fall asleep, and if you allow yourself to go under the sway of excitement, you'll be thinking all over the world and lose the object. On the other hand, if you cinch your effort so tightly, you will over-apply the antidote and burn yourself out. I think the nyemba karechenin nyemba the nyeba.
Yeah, you will temper enough. But then you bought a no this. Cross some Yaboji. College.
So he's saying the same thing. Like basically, the fault here is that you're having a decent meditation, you're managing to let your mind focus on the object, but you're over-applying the antidote here and kind of tightening the screws, and then you will lose it. Your mind will be like high-strung, kind of overdoing it.
Okay, this is a 5, 4th, right?
Yeah, 5th. Yeah, so those are the 5 now. So then there are 8. Antidotes.
But I didn't write down here.
Yeah, I don't see them here. So.
And the first one, Lelo and Nibo.
So there are 4 antidotes to laziness.
And the Shamba Shila Chick, Lelo Shig Jealous. Usually there are 5, here 5.
Yeah.
Lelo has 4.
Yeah.
Other one each get 1.
Ah, I see. So that's why the antidotes are numbered as 8, because laziness, the first fault, has 4 antidotes. And then the other remaining 4 out of the 5 faults each have their own antidote, so then it equals out to be 8.
Lelo has 5 bodyguards.
Laziness is
Lazy, yeah. 5 bodyguards.
Bodyguards.
Oh, 4
4 bodyguards for laziness.
big guy.
I never the career is enough. Thinking the Tumtojun Dubagoris, Tepa, thinking the Tepa. Yeah, fair.
Okay. Yeah, so the antidotes here, what are these antidotes? The first one is having faith in samadhi, in single-pointed concentration.
You have faith, then you have to think about, I need to achieve this in Dumba.
Oh, Duma, yeah, like the aspiration for it. So he's saying what it means to have faith is you see that you need it. In order to achieve like enlightenment or whatever, you eventually are going to need to have this single-pointed concentration. So you have not only faith, but a deep longing or aspiration for that state, being able to achieve that.
Can you ask him something about that?
You can ask him.
The aspiration, the faith, is that similar to the spirit of aspiration that Shantideva talks about?
No, not this one. You just think about the good qualities.
If you think about the good qualities of single-pointed concentration, then your meditation session will go well. So. Yeah. So if you have this this dumba, which is literally it's like longing. So if you have this longing to achieve this state, this aspiration, like this feeling that you really want it, then you will also have joyful effort. So,
로.
di nyambo niwa ro. Tsundu,
전주디 니고 숨바들.
sumba.
당보대
Tema,
당보대 대바.
대바.
지는 돈바.
dumba, tsundu.
전주디.
Okay, so these are all like, there are three actually, we're on the third one, we haven't been enumerated. The first one is faith.
Okay.
Faith is what, faith means being able to see the benefit, the use that you need that meditative concentration, which gives rise to the longing to achieve that state, which in turn gives rise to the joyful effort trying to get it.
아니, 섭사지.
Say that.
Yeah, I thought that was one.
Okay, so there are three that he's listed. First one is faith,
Okay.
which is identifying the need, that you need to achieve that state, which gives rise to the longing, wanting to achieve that state, which gives rise to the joyful effort of trying to achieve that state.
So faith, longing, and joyful effort.
Yes.
존지죠, 존지.
Tuntu, yeah. Disumba,
then 시와대 다 대략했니? 다 시장에 나와 시장. 시장 사이시. 그러면
Xinjiang.
나한테 레워 시장.
Xinjiang.
시장도 그래서 시장.
Xinjiang. These Lu Sendang Lu Xinjiang.
시장 말이 시장 사야 돼. 파지 시장에서 다 공소 연하다 시장 연 거로 봐. 시장도 돌아오지 해서 다 알아 봐. 싸게 야와 work out.
Oh, okay.
anyway 내 콜. anyway 다그 대전화 다 저부터 가는 신의 로컬에서
Namgyun kana shine kor kechisedu di shine drumna tene ludang sem
야
Xinjiang.
대용 대신에 찬으로 와.
Ah, ne.
신의 찬에 대다 시장 그 대다 시장 되고도
Ah,
그러고.
ne. Tene kore di nyambo shiba di
니부 시와대 다시 시장으로 해서 당가 땡땡라면서 I'm not sure.
Okay, so the fourth one is called let's say suppleness, I guess Xinjiang.
아직 레벨에서
Yeah.
공소 누마 쓴데 레벨을 그랬어.
So he's saying like he's not sure if this is because usually when they talk about this is what I was discussing with him. Usually when they talk about the attainment of serenity, like the actual single pointed concentration, they say like a result of that, which I think we mentioned last week, is the mind and body both become incredibly supple, which is accompanied by a feeling of like physical and mental bliss. So I was asking, is this the same Xinjiang as that one? And he was saying, I don't think so, but I think what it means is like it's leading to that type of suppleness. So it has some connection to it. There is a relationship between this suppleness that he's talking about as the fourth one and the suppleness which is achieved in the end, but he said he's not sure what the specific relationship is.
간접하지. 다 담보 쓰면은 다 시가 되고 그랬어.
So if you have the first three, if the first three of these antidotes exist, the fourth one comes naturally. So
근데 대 레벨이다. 다 당화 제백이 님보다 다 전바. 제백은 그랬어.
yeah, so those are the antidotes for the first one, for laziness.
Wait, what's the fourth?
The fourth one is suppleness.
Oh, of the it itself. Okay.
that's how
So that one comes as a result of the previous three. If you have the previous three, then the fourth one naturally occurs. It makes sense if you think about like the nature of those four that he listed, that they're all kind of an exacerbation of the same thing. Like you see the need to achieve single-pointed concentration, which creates a strong feeling of wanting to achieve it, which creates that joyful effort. You enjoy trying to achieve it, which then makes it much easier. You feel comfortable instead of like it's some torture. Like sometimes if you know, I don't know if any of you have ever done, but once I went to a Zen center and we sat and stared at the wall, it was like torture to me. So, instead of having a feeling like that, if you have those first three, it's a nice feeling actually to be able to sit and do the meditation that way. So rather than beating yourself with it. Anyway, so those four were for the first one, for laziness. Now the second one, which is forgetting the instructions, the antidote for that one is mindfulness.
전바. 전바면서 usually you find you mala here. You doesn't drop mala, right? The 전바 holding. then you 가지. 다 음바도 맞지와.
So did you guys understand that? No. So he was saying like an example of mindfulness he gave is like when you are holding the mala, when you are doing the mala, you don't drop it. The mindfulness is like not dropping the mala. So you don't lose remember, forgetting the instruction doesn't mean just forgetting what someone told you. It means when you're supposed to focus on a certain object, losing the object. So let's say you're supposed to visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni, and then suddenly like it disappears, and the next thing you know you're thinking about food or something. Anyway, so that's like dropping the mala. So he's saying the mindfulness is like holding the mala.
For example, when you holding mala, you do something, it doesn't drop. Therefore you tremble. What's the tremble?
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness of holding. Check you when you sleep, you drop. You sleep. That time the tremble gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the second word.
Yeah.
아니 니바 다 시즌 되는 거지. 다 시즌 이 체킹 이 만.
Yeah, yeah.
근데 대단
Nyambo Duche.
님도 지고. 선배가 님.
아.
선바 되는 거. 시고시마다. 시고시마나. 시고시미 제다. 시와도 그반다. 선바도. 선바도 뭐 시즌.
Yeah.
아니 시즌다 그래서. 시와도 그반나.
Yeah, okay, so the antidote to the third one is not applying, the third one itself is called not applying the antidote when sinking and excitement arise. The antidote to that is applying the antidote when sinking and excitement arise.
Wait a minute.
No.
Did we skip one?
Yes.
Yes.
Which one?
Sinking and excitement.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So
But the
the
fourth one was the antidote itself.
Yeah, not applying the
Yeah.
antidote you gave us as the fourth.
So the so
let's see,
applying it.
Togme Sangpo
yeah.
친구 중화. Yeah.
그러니까 시즌 가고 시즌 체킹.
네. Okay, sorry. Let me clarify. Thank you for paying attention, everybody. You guys are already using the mindfulness.
Good.
Okay.
It's a test.
Okay,
I
so
know.
this one, number 3,
Yeah.
is actually just, like you said, just the sinking and the excitement. And the antidote to that one is the introspection, the mind which watches if it's going to arise or not, which checks if you have it.
아니 다 순바도 그래. 시와다 나온 집을 다 opposite죠. 시고 시와나 님보 샤바.
Yeah.
시고도 다니 다 님보 맞다봐.
Yeah.
opposite.
So the fourth and the fifth ones are the opposite of each other. The fourth one is not applying the antidote when you have sinking and excitement. The antidote to that is applying the antidote. Then the fifth one is applying the antidote when you don't have sinking and excitement. And then the antidote to that one is not applying the antidote when you don't
Wait.
have. So
Okay.
they're just the opposite of each other.
Okay.
And their antidotes are also the opposite of them. So
다 시와도 개반이 하고서 되냐고 시만 내가
yeah, so these are easy to understand, these last few ones, so he doesn't need to explain in great detail.
You guys know what is shiwa, what is geba, what's that?
Yeah, sinking and excitement. You guys understand what those both are, right?
Anyway, this kind of man with a shiwa. Man go to this guy, man we get geba.
Yeah.
되지. 다 되라. 아니 띵에서 고백세 아니 예방이 니모지 jet 하려고 그래서.
Yeah, so they say for these 5 faults, at the time of doing single-pointed meditation, there are 8 antidotes. So that's what they say, and these are the 5 faults that he listed and the 8 antidotes.
You have to understand this thing, okay?
Yeah.
Then second one we said 다 신내가 촉된 봐.
Ah,
신내가 촉된 봐.
yeah. Shinegi tsok demba.
촉된 봐.
Demba.
Yeah.
Demba.
I'm not here, yeah.
Demba.
촉되면서 나
tsok kosange shinegi tsok.
신내면 신내 뜻하게
예,
시샤당
예.
한번 질러요.
Yeah, 네 ngaki yako sheda hakosan. Shinegi tsok. Yene demba.
촉된 말은 다
Demba is teaching.
촉셔봐, 촉그봐, 촉줘봐, 촉줘봐.
So druba.
촉여봐 다 빼놓으시는 건 되라고 그러니까 이제 맞지?
Ah, demba.
그냥 신내 뜻하게 사자들라
Yeah.
사상보, 조상보.
Yeah.
그래?
Okay, so now the next one that we are moving on to is called, let's see, how can I say, being endowed with the accumulations of, or the accumulations amenable to serenity. So there's this class of phenomena. This is also in the Dodegen, right?
Wait,
Then they have to
this
take
is another.
This is another one.
Yeah, he's giving. No.
Now we have
This
to
isn't-
place.
We're moving on to another.
Now when you meditation,
Another topic.
Shamatha, what's that?
Shamatha.
Shamatha.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There has to be a place that has
Yeah.
the collections or I don't know, a collection or group things basically that are amenable to serenity. So this is a common thing that's in the Asanga writes a lot about this in the Bodhisattva Bhumis, the Mahayana Sutra Alamkara. This is like a big topic. So it basically means those things which you need, environmental and like food and sustenance and body, like health, that you need in order to be able to achieve, this meditation, single-pointed meditation.
Including virtue. Yeah. And
Well, we'll hear. He's going to explain them. So.
okay.
근데 간지 다처럼 담보들 합쳐서 시도 대라 먹고 다 강갈라 먹었지 담보들 고기로 와. 근데 밑 초시죠 그래서. 와. 너가 좀 초시 먹고 그래서.
아,
내 초시.
뇌충.
야.
연결 성능.
너가 좀 초시가. 너가 싫어나? No. People some people do many things like. Somebody
아, 도바충.
너가 좋아하는 초시가.
Yeah.
네가 이래서.
So, the niro.
너가 좋아하는 집.
Yeah, dobachungwa. Okay, so having few desires, that's the first one.
한 초시가.
And then
초시가.
being satisfied.
네.
That's number 2. These are 1 and 2. Having few desires, and choksheba means like being satisfied, basically. You're okay.
근데 초점도 안 돼. 봐서.
Huh?
초점도 안 돼. 봐.
Having ethics, having ethical discipline.
아니.
This is 3.
다음
2 is being satisfied.
남동만 보면 뻥하듯이.
Not having a lot of like kind of conceptual thought, flighty, letting your mind wander, like giving that up, basically.
That's ethical discipline.
That's
No, this is the 4th one.
the
Sorry.
third one.
The 3rd one was having ethical discipline.
I think
What was it?
The 4th, okay, let me go through them again.
Kali.
Okay.
담보대
Right?
We are going too fast, so
준비한 데 봐서.
두부충wa.
Kali.
담부디 두부충wa.
담보대 치더래. 준비한 데 봐서. 담보대 로데 강데 네비 열세리고. 담보대 we talk about easy to find food,
Yeah.
nice place,
Yeah.
then good friends. 준비한 데 봐서 대담보.
Yeah. So
준비한 데 봐.
then 두부충wa di niwa.
대녀 너가 중요한
Oh,
이거
great.
초시바스 마.
Okay, so now I'm gonna just make you all really upset.
담보대 지나다 라고 담보대.
Okay, so I explained to you number 1, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was number 1
Yeah,
when I explained it to you.
야.
So the first one is tumba yina
준비한 데 봐서.
neba. So
열라 데 봐서.
a place which is amenable. That was the first one.
Oh,
So
not having few desires.
the first one is a place that's amenable to the practice, which is exactly as I described it. He said so that
야,
means a place where you have support and the things
Yeah.
that you need are available without difficulty. There's no big major obstructions to you practicing there. It's not next to an airport, like those kind of things that are conducive to concentrated meditation.
Okay.
Then 2,
너가 좋아.
dobachoma. The second one is having few desires. The third one is being satisfied.
근데 주름 따봐.
Sudrim takwa, I mean,
주름 야보.
sudrim
주름 다 대봐.
Yeah, sudrim nema. So the 4th one is having ethical discipline. And he also glossed that by saying pure ethical discipline or very good ethical discipline.
That's the 4th one?
4th one. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm giving you guys' wrists a run for their money today.
Then
Yeah. And then the 5th one would be giving up like a lot of frivolous thought, like conceptual thought, mind wandering, and just
다 던지지 그거 레스타 나눠서 지금 내가 치고
yeah. So he's saying like that's thinking like, oh, I need that, or I need this, or I don't want to be over here, I want to be over there, like all of this kind of like your mind running around.
We are not well about.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
We need to.
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, that tell her, 지네가 속 대봐, 누가 맞다 모르겠어.
Yamkyab.
속 대봐.
Yeah, so this is like having the collections that are amenable to serenity are these things.
But it is what?
Sorry.
Yes.
Satisfied. Being satisfied with what?
Choshe.
조시.
Choshe kari.
다 마보 먹어. 집대 쇼는 두다.
And doba chungwa.
다 집을 놓여서 좋아. 다 고고도 삼수 지나다 아니 너가 좀 조시 받는 다 땡도 손상하죠.
So I asked him just to further your question, because I asked that he heard your question and then he said being satisfied means like you just have a simple thing and you're fine with that. And I said, well, how's that different from having few desires?
Yeah.
And then he said, no, they're very similar, but having few desires means like you don't have a lot, like I want this, I want that, and being satisfied means like whatever you do have, you're like, yeah, that's okay, I'm fine with that. So they're similar to each other, but they're just a little bit different. So.
Okay. 다들 줘서 다들 단단하도 신의 공부가 말이야. We are not meditation.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the serenity meditation yet. So we were just talking about
right now?
we are just talking about like kind of ancillary
Try
things.
to
Yeah.
collect.
Yeah.
Now we to start, okay? Then you have to meditation. 조심스러워. What's orphans?
Orphans?
Offerings?
Offerings. Choba, right?
조심스.
Yeah, choba shams, because then you set up, right?
Yeah,
Choba draw, right?
Yeah. Set up the altar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Killing.
All right.
So that's number 6.
What is this title now?
No, this isn't like a list, right?
This is not to be.
He's just explaining like how to prepare for the
prepare.
session, right?
Right, yeah.
So this is another listing.
The tungi munjo, right?
다도 누르다. Now we to.
Yeah, this is the preliminaries for a session, is what he's talking about. And this isn't a list, really. It's just he's giving you a description what you should do before a session. So first set up the offerings, like make the offerings that you need to make.
단단하게 나도 라야 돼. 이게도 막으면 나도 조금 하고 그랬어. We did before we explain.
Yeah.
This is you have to understand before you meditation.
Okay, so are you
Meditation.
guys all heard that?
Okay.
The things that he's explaining, you need to understand all of these before you do
Before
meditation.
okay?
Yeah.
But you will not follow this kind of paths.
Mm.
You need to, this is the antidote. This is the fault things. After this one antidote, you have to know everything.
Yeah.
Then you when meditation, then this guy is coming, then you
Does everyone understand?
Stop.
So he's saying
Okay.
the reason we're teaching these is because prior to beginning any session of meditation, you need to know what faults of meditation are, and to be able to identify them, and then also to be able to apply antidotes when they come up. Otherwise, you're just going in there, and willy-nilly. Who knows what will happen?
right?
So
You work in computer. You have to know before open the computer. You say, oh, this go here, then this go here, this. You have to know everything. You don't know anything. Just you click sends me, then you mistake. 다 담보다 나서 다 때려고 싶네. 다 지도 가디 바이나 주시네 공부이나. 아니 좋게 가디나. 난 좋아요 보시면서.
So when we are ready to have a session of meditation, once we know all of these things, then in the morning, shogen, right?
morning or in the
Yeah.
and usually we say morning.
Yeah, usually I think the morning is highly prized, especially really early morning, like pre-dawn, because it's quiet. Anyway, morning, you make your offerings, set up your offerings, and offer well.
You sit place a little bit higher behind,
Yeah.
not front.
You guys could understand that, right? So it's a seat which elevates your rear end a little bit and lowers your knees a little bit.
근데 다 리나는 그 주들들
Yeah.
everybody know that.
Yeah. So everybody knows in your body, within your body, you have to observe the 7 points. So does everybody know the 7 points?
We don't need to explain that.
Okay.
Anyway, see this. Then now you have to first few months, Shivan give up both you. Man go very far away, then you think about this. I saw some text that I don't know all that. You hold this, what's that? This
Nostril. Nostril.
straw, then you
Blow out.
blow out. Blow out means you in what's that? Negative things, you know, ignorance, everything is black smoke go out. Then you, I think it's this way. I'm not sure. Some text say that, some text doesn't say.
Yeah.
But this one,
This finger.
Nostril.
yeah, nostril. then-
He's saying the using this
Yeah,
the what finger is that? The third finger, ring finger.
is ring finger.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you're using the finger on to hold first the left
Same
nostril,
side.
right?
Yeah.
당부디
Not tambote.
yin, right?
Yuanji.
Yeah. So the first you do the left side. You press the left side with the ring finger. These things, the finger and the nostril, these all have some. I don't know. It has to do with like prana, like energy in the body or whatever. But you press this side and then you breathe out the right side, black smoke, and then you do the opposite side.
It's alternate
Yeah.
nostril breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
요거.
당부?
This one.
The
ring finger.
Yeah, ring finger.
Yeah. Do the,
This one.
But Geshe, don't you breathe in one nostril and breathe out the other?
Why
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
why is this one? I think so this one or this one. I think so this.
They.
The
배전은 되나?
배짱나. The lama simba. The shenete.
아,
Mare the 제동이 다 마키.
예, 나 통성 디드라고 통성.
So it's like a mudra.
난 앞에서까지도 스탄데 빠진 누구들 없었어. 나 두 가지만 앞에서까지는 됐네 오고. 네, 요 말. 여기까지는 누구?
Yeah, yeah.
Some places doesn't say.
Okay, so anyway, so they are talking about the technicalities of which finger you use and where they've seen it in different texts as different fingers. So he's saying in some texts it says like that he's seen it appears that you use this finger to do the nose on both sides, the ring finger. But in other places he's seen where it doesn't appear, it doesn't say specifically which finger or whatever. So I think it's, for us, maybe it's not that important, right?
This is not any words. I don't think important. Anyway, think
In
about
the
that.
in the FPNT courses, they say only use ring finger, no other finger.
Okay,
Only ring finger back and forth.
okay.
Anyway, there are
Sutram is the
Yeah.
expert, so
some
Same hand, same side.
some texts say this, some texts that doesn't matter. Anyway, you think about what's it? You can go out, the negative things go out. That now you have to meditate. No, wow, okay. Then you come in, you blasting Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, or to come in. This you come up, come 21 times. This is not meditation. They makes you count that you man come down.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
After you man come down, now you meditation. Maybe Buddha's statue or something. You think you focus that. Now you're going to really meditation. Maybe you put some what's that? Put ear something.
Earplugs.
Earplugs. You don't want to hear anything. Then down there are seven girls. Seven girls.
Semnegi. Gugu. Oh, yeah, yeah. So then there are the, okay, so just to be clear, everyone understood that? So you do the cycle of breathing 21 times.
What exactly, just, what's the cycle? Which nostril, how many times?
So he said to begin, he said, Semne gu, gu,
다오가시 고.
di.
아, good.
Yeah, di. Anyway, so the cycle, di upchung 당보 예, right?
다오 예.
Dine
근데 얘네 투도나 요거는 바데. 근데 투도는 바데. 딱 거기 좀 말좀 줘라.
dine nishusa chikdi
대
nige.
대투양 삼삼 냠보지 바 냠보지 수유 된다. 근데 간제 고치와 고치와 되네 요래. 아, 주룩지와 되네 요래. 미슈타 시스와 되네 뭐도 와서. 간제 뭐 지난게 샘데. 근데 때뭐 마셔고 가지고
I think the okay, so what he's saying is that you alternate the nostril that you do the breathing in and the breathing out through. So you begin with the first one and you breathe out as if it's black, and then you breathe in as if it's the blessings of bodhisattvas and Buddhas. Then you do the other nostril and you breathe out. And in 20, you begin with the left nostril.
And you breathe in, if you hold the
You
left,
hold the left
then
nostril.
you come in and out with the right.
You
7
breathe out
times.
first. Breathe out with the
Breathe
right
out
nostril.
first.
And imagine you're breathing out black smoke.
Yeah.
Then breathe in and imagine you're breathing in the
With the right
bodhisattva's
nostril.
blessings. Right. Then you switch and do the left nostril. And 21 means like all together. So 1 on this side, 2 on this side, 3 on this side, 4 on this side.
Yeah.
He said in different texts, some say 5 times, some say 9 times, some say, different numbers of times. But he said generally the point of doing it, these cycles, is that it causes the mind to become calm.
21 cycles.
Yeah.
In that time you just
In and out is 1. Yeah.
In that time you can count this, mind count this, doesn't go mind other place.
Yeah.
Just go up, come down, go up, just count this. Then your mind is more stable. Mind is more stable. Then you can see, now we are thinking about some statue.
Yeah. So you guys understand? He's saying like by the exercise of counting, having to keep track, 1 in, 1 out. 2 in, 2 out, or the other way around. Anyway, but by having to count like that, keeping track of the counting for 21 times, the mind stays on one thing. So it's not wandering around, and it's starting to get calm by virtue of the fact that you're focusing it. Then once it's calmed down, now you're ready to take an object of observation.
If the first breath is out on the right, the second breath is in on the left.
In on the right.
In on the right.
The first one is out and in, counts as 1, a full breath. So the cycle of 21 would be 21 full breaths, which means out and in as 1, out and in as 2.
And then you flip to the left.
Yes.
So just to confirm, left side and the cycle begins breathing out.
That's what he said, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
I
so
understand.
how is
Thank
it?
you.
If you can put your finger, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay? Come in, go out, come in. This is a
Yeah.
You gotta do it right.
point is you mind come down.
Yeah. I think Geshe is right. He's saying it's not really that important what finger or whatever. The point of it is that it causes you to count something and to focus your attention a bit, which calms your mind down and prepares you to take an object of observation.
노는 요즘 다 등하고 거든 노는 요즘 와. 노는 요즘 왔다. 나는 요들이. 그 간지 또 고든 지들이 돈도 치들이 되나? 지금 내가 난 거기 예고 잡고 지금 간지 맞지 샘 말아. 지도 샘 템보 와. 샘 별로 용하지. Okay?
So he's explaining the same
This is
thing.
just not big deal, Red finger, left finger, or cupid finger doesn't matter. Means your mind stable come down. Then when your mind come down, then you can see some Buddha statue above the here. First you can
Ni kare dila mikbara.
tata migo, tata
Dine
migo.
mikwa dila di ngune mare. Kunda ngune mare ra.
다 다시 끝나 야war다, 끝나 야war와.
근데 야가를
문제 지나다 수염 지우다, 다 나도 담아발라다 끝나 야war와.
근데 야가라. 이네 근다 쳔보 양나 춘준 야가래. 춘준 라.
Doesn't matter which
Yeah,
one's
chamber.
better for you.
Okay, so I'm asking, so he's saying you can see a Buddha statue about here, and then I just thought like, okay, so that's in the air in front of you, and I thought, is this a real Buddha statue or an image of a Buddha statue? And he said, no, I think a statue is better, is what he said. And then I asked, should it be a big statue or a little statue? And he said, well, it depends what's better for you. So,
Maybe first maybe you can see some statue there, image maybe more difficult.
yeah.
First you can see statue, then not just you can, you guys see the holiness picture. Everybody focus. What's that? Focus mind that, then you check your mind where it's going. Your mind what your eyes see your mind there, or your mind go where you going. You just you can check how you can stay there. You guys see? No, that time you can just focus your mind over there. Then you check, not just check that, you check your mind. where's your mind? If your mind, where what you see, your eyes, your mind there, or your mind just come down. This mind we call it, what's the decision? One mind, they checking.
Yeah, yeah.
How the mind want to do.
So he's giving you guys, like as an example, to just look at the picture behind him of His Holiness. So focus on it visually, like with your eyes. And then while your eyes are looking at the image, pay attention to where your mind is going. Your eyes could be seeing the image and your mind could be wandering away. So focus on the image, but also pay attention to whether your mind is focusing on the image or starting to wander to other things. And this mind, which pays attention to whether your mind is wandering away, that's called introspection. That's like the little part of your mind that's the policing kind of sheshin.
Okay.
When you focus on the object, what do you think about the quality of the object, about the, you focus on the object, you look at the object, you keep track of your mind, but what is the focus on the object? Just looking at it, or focusing on the quality? Or
First just you can focus that, how long you stay. You stumble that, then you can check the qualities, then benefits.
Yeah.
First you cannot check all many things. First just your mind stable there. It is stable. You just see, I see that
So form. So just you're
Yeah.
focusing on the form.
focus form. This is a, that's Tangbo, that's Nanyate Jobas.
Nanyidu. Okay, so this is like the first of, there are 9. This is another list that he's starting. So get your pens ready. Semnebe Tabgu. So these are the 9 methods for staying the mind, causing the mind to stay.
When you are in the 9, then you almost cheat Shamatha.
Yeah. So once you get to level 9, these are kind of like stages.
Okay?
So the first one is called Nanyidu Jokpa.
Yeah.
So Nanyidu Jokpa means, I usually think we see it translated as placement. So
Yeah.
placement means, he's going to explain it.
Yeah, means, I show you guys, see that picture?
Yeah.
Just you mind go, what you call it? Focus there.
Yeah.
During that time, then you check other mind. Oh, mind just there, mind go other place. You do that, right?
Yeah.
Then Nibadeta Jund Jobas is
And then the second,
Mountain, again.
yeah, the second one is called continual placement.
okay.
So continual placement.
Can you just reiterate the first one?
The first one is called placement, and the Tibetan here says sem mikwa tene gombe tinge zin shiklase. Yeah, yeah. So once the mind is directed toward the object of observation, then gombe tinge zin shiklase. Then the mind can
mind.
yeah, the mind can remain like single-pointedly for a bit.
Okay.
So
Is that the second point?
that's the first one. That's like the definition that he gave me in Tibetan of the first one. He's asking me to tell him what the first one is. So once the mind is directed toward the object of observation, it's able to stay single-pointedly for a bit. So that's called placement, when the mind actually is placed on the object and stays there a bit. And then the second one was called continual placement.
Yeah, whatever. Not doing that, you can then other mind check. This way mind go stay there or go other place. Then ta sumba de la ta lende jopas. Ta lende jopas na what do I use there?
I don't know, similar Yangwa.
Yeah, this is lende jopas.
Lende Jopa.
Yeah,
I got
like
that. Yeah.
You got it? Yeah.
Yeah. So Lende Jopa, the third one is like returning to placement or repaired
Yeah.
placement.
If
So-
you forget,
Yes.
you
So
jump,
this,
again you come
the
back.
third one means like continual placement is different from the first one in that it's longer. It's a longer period of time. The third one is returned placement, which means when the mind wanders away from its object of observation, you can actually replace it back on the object, being able to catch it and move it back to the object.
Not
Catch
doing,
and return.
not
Yeah.
doing that time, you don't have to, lelo you must, lelo no certificate, not lelo.
Yeah, that time you're not lazy.
Okay.
There's no laziness.
But what coming, she want to get by with
Shen Wang.
she want to get by, you know, she want to get by.
Chiwa.
Yeah, she want to get by.
Chiwa the goba. Yeah, yeah. So that at that time you don't have laziness, but you will have laxity and excitement will occur. Ra? Like sinking.
Yeah, sinking or
and
sinking.
excitement. Yeah.
Also, the Dhamma Japa.
Oh yeah, forgetting the instruction or losing the object of observation.
Okay? Now you have to think about the time. Who check? She check.
Yeah. So then at that time, who's going to keep track of whether these things come up or
Judgment.
not? That time it's going to be the introspection.
Okay, now your meditation. This is your 6 months meditation. Okay, not just 2 hours. Okay, then which one?
This is 4 was introspection.
Now,
No.
this is 31. Now for what? That never job us. Never job. That lupa compare tama. Compare na lupa na yuchi roa. Yes, that tam lachi do mena. That tele yamana lak mas. Yes, chess. Yamana that di ko that tanda kola iba. Ni quality do. You can check all object.
Yeah,
Object
yeah.
quality something.
Okay, so Nyewar Jokpa, this is the 4th one, which is like full placement. Like Nyewar Jokpa, it means like really placement. That's the real deal. Now you're actually placed on the object.
With continuity.
Number 4. Number 4.
Real placement.
So Nyewar Jokpa, it means like full placement.
Full placement.
Yeah.
Okay.
It means
And he's saying like at this time when you've achieved the full placement, then you have the luxury of looking at the qualities of the object besides just focusing on the form.
bigger,
Yeah,
more.
Can we call it stable placement?
you could say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Then you are easy to statue, then you can image, visualization.
Yeah, yeah.
A little bigger, okay? Then tolerance.
这么说的，你玩了就把，我觉得头发起的。
니어를 줘봐도 나 되게 틀려 자고 들어와. 그래서 나 니어를 줘봐도 틀려 자고 들어와. 되게 나 저랑 누가 공부를 다 와라 그래. 누가 공부를 다 와라 다 누가 말을 다.
解释。
제설 영화.
解释有嘛？
제설 영화. 누가 있다 말 영화. 체력 영화. 야가 영화로 와. 니어를 줘봐. 워크는 틀려 들어와 돼. 워크인데 틀려 자고 들어와. 어디 이거는. 니어를 줘봐. 총리면 매가. 다 지금 저와 잡디. 아니 뭐봐 공부할 때 와라 되는데 다 뭐봐 적설 때 와. 말도 와. Okay, then I explain just then that Dorisha pass. That 5 is Dorisha pass.
둘밖에.
Dorisha means that Shamatha Gepa Shunse. Thinking the other something that Gawacha.
Okay, let me read it.
Oh, you can read it.
You did. Sanay kumbala. Gawakira. So. So this one is called Dula Cheba, which means like disciplining. So Dula, right? Dula. Yeah, so this one means disciplining. The title of it is disciplining. And the way it's described here is that when you're meditating and if laxity and excitement occur, you think of the qualities of single-pointed meditation and you feel great, like you really enjoy meditating. And you can overcome kind of the threat of laxity and excitement.
Then they go away.
Yeah, you can disperse them by thinking of the qualities of single pointed concentration. It says actually here like where was I? Gombala Gawa Kiebala said it wrong. So it actually produces a feeling of total enjoyment in meditating, just by thinking like if you have laxity and excitement, you just think of like how great single-pointed concentration is, and they're just gone like that, and you feel like happy to continue meditating. So.
But coarse laxity and excitement, right? Not subtle.
This is too detailed.
Yeah, he said too much detail. He didn't write here anything like.
This is too Rapa told you don't understand.
Children wants to take it to the next level.
They have inside the too many things. Just forget it. Just we can.
Just forget it.
Basic.
Very basic. Thing,
Yeah, this is basic.
You know.
This is all a very long, this is a process, right, that extends
Yes, yeah.
over
These are stages.
many lifetimes.
6 months.
I mean, this isn't a single session, right? Obviously,
No,
it's
yeah.
not. This is
Yeah, this is describing, in my opinion, this is describing, like, let's say if you became a gymnast,
yeah, I
right?
know.
So the first thing you got to be able to do is, like, touch your toes,
Fall off the bar.
right? So once you can touch your toes, it doesn't mean you can do like a triple somersault or something, but you go through stages. So these are like stages in the training. Like, first you get to be able to just place your mind on the object for a bit, then you make it a bit longer, and then you place it like, stronger than that, and then you get to this point where you're like disciplining your mind, where now the threat of sinking and excitement are like really they're no big deal. You can just reinforce your feeling of that meditation is something you need, and then you have a feeling of like total joy that helps you just keep going.
At the first stage, can you keep your eyes open and actually look at the physical form? Or
That's what he recommended.
Or you try to look at it, remember, Xerox it.
No. He didn't recommend that at all. He said to take a actual statue as the object, and you look at it with your eyes open. And then he just said the nyewar jokpa la kare topna. Then you can visualize, right?
Yeah, visualize. Yeah, visualize. If you are not better,
Yeah.
you can visualization.
So he's saying, like he mentioned on the full placement, like once you reach that stage, then if you want, you could visualize, because your mind has become more secure. But at the beginning, his recommendation is that you use a physical object, and you're actually looking at it with your eyes, not like imagining it.
Usually, when you meditation, you are not close your eyes. If you close your eyes, you fall asleep. You put your eyes, look here.
Yeah.
Look here.
This is one of the kare namnang chudun, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the 7 points. So you can close your eyes.
You close eyes, you can put eyes here. You cannot see too far away. But we talk about this. We are better to know. We see something object, then we see a little bit focus. We don't see anything, then we fall asleep.
Yeah.
Okay, then what? This 5. Now this one is Shori Shaba. Shori Shaba means you can.
Yeah. So Shivar Cheba means like pacification. So the 7th one, this is 6.
Sixth one.
6. Sorry.
Yeah.
I still am not good at reading Tibetan numbers. Anyway, 6th one.
Geba Shivana. Geba Shivana. Nami ga yini samne. Inga the Gombala tam Magawa Shiva Shiva is. Can you read that?
Correct. The Shivar Cheba.
Yeah, Shiva Shiva means.
Gombetse Gopa Juma.
Yeah.
Gopa Juma.
When you meditation, then Gopa coming. Gopa means what you.
Yeah. The excitement.
Then you can think Nami ga Nyemi means.
Yeah. If you think of the faults of this called Chingu, and this one is good by itself. So the previous one was talking about in disciplining. It was talking about when both laxity and excitement occur, then you just think of the qualities of meditation and they get dispersed, and you also have a mind which really has a joyful feeling about meditation. This one, it's called pacifying, and this one is when gupa, excitement alone. So when excitement arises, then you think of the faults of like namyang. So like it means literally like drifting, wavering. So you think of the faults of drifting away from the object of observation. So excitement is mainly characterized by the mind losing track of its object and thinking about other things, right? So you think about the faults of those, and then you have shiwacheva. Yeah, then you have you pacify. Thinking of the faults of those pacifies the mind which is unhappy with meditation at that moment. So I think the assumption here is that the guba happens because you gomba mingo ro. Guba yana?
Yeah.
Then gomba mingo ro.
Yeah, Goba is not the you mind to stay. Go on the water.
Yeah. So it's it's saying here, kind of the assumption in the way that it's defining this.
These are the one meditation.
Yeah, is if you have excitement, it means your mind is like not really content with the meditation you're doing. It's starting to like think about, oh, like that show I saw last week was so funny or something like that. So actually the reason this one is called pacifying is because just when excitement starts to arise, you think of the faults of wavering from the object, of drifting away from the object, and immediately the mind which is unsatisfied with meditation is pacified. It's like finished. It just kind of peters out, and then you can stay on the object.
Okay. Not doing that we are very good meditation. We are when you are here, it's not possible. We really got. What is it?
I just wanted to, the last two that we talked about, discipline, laxity, and pacifying excitement, like those two.
The first one,
laxity and excitement.
Yeah, right.
Thinking of the qualities of, so those two we just talked about.
Yeah.
It seems to me like they could kind of, like, I don't know if I'm thinking of it wrongly as like steps, but these two seem like they're very kind of have the same vein, which is you can kind of think about the good qualities of things.
Yeah.
And then that makes the bad stuff go away.
Yeah.
So in very simple terms.
I think if
they're not really like steps, but they could kind of be like you wouldn't get to one and then get to the next one necessarily.
Well, in a way, you can think of it like they're, at least the way they're describing it here. If you think of the first one as like a lump, it's like a lump of both laxity and excitement together, roughly as a category, and then thinking of the qualities of meditation. And the second one is more subtle because it's only excitement. And it's not only thinking about the qualities of meditation, but about the bad side of like being distracted from the object. So it's like refining, there's a logical progression, I think, in the description of these steps.
Okay. Now, what's 7? Number 7. That thing is going to say you have some judgment, unhappy. Doing that, and you have what's about this country.
Okay, so the next one is called really pacifying. So we had before like what was these like let's see, we have the jokpa, and then we have the nyewar jokpa. Anyway, there's like an intensification, like a prefix that just means more so. So anyway, this one is really pacifying, like pacifying even more. And then the definition of this one is when you're meditating and you have a mind of attachment or a mind of displeasure comes up, then let's see, where was I? Sorry, right? So it's immediately pacified without any interval.
Okay. This is an edge. Not edge is that. Techida. Better than chebe. Better than chebe going to that thing is compass. Hard work.
Better than chebe. Yeah.
Now you very good step.
Top.
Is that that's the name of it, right? It has a long name. Sechidu Neba. Sechidu Neba. So the 8th one is called abiding single-pointedly, staying single-pointedly.
Also you have to walk hard.
Yeah, and then the definition of this one is Beto Danchebe Gone Gombe Ting Edzin Lasya. So it's a single-pointed concentration meditation that's accompanied by great effort and striving.
Then another one, start Nyamar Jobbas.
Yeah. So then the 9th one, Nyambar Jokpa or Nyamjok, this is like meditative equipoise. Like this is equipoise. It means like basically it's perfectly balanced. Like
not too hard work.
Yeah, not too. Equipoise is the perfect balance. If you could think of like, it's not squeezing too hard, but it's not loose, and it feels perfect. It feels good. He was saying it has no hard work associated with it.
What is if stage 9 is equipoise, which is perfect balance, how is that different than shamatha? Because stage 9 is still not quite shamatha yet.
I'm coming.
Anyway, so I'll read the definition of this really quickly. So the Nyambar Jokpa, the equipoise, the definition of it here is it's a single-pointed concentration meditation in which it's accomplished spontaneously with no effort.
Okay.
Sounds pretty good. I wish I had that one.
During that time, then you meditation, then you feel very happy. Then you get shamatha.
Okay, so he's saying basically, to answer your question, Tsultrim, he's talking about, again, this comes back to the Shinjang. So the suppleness, mental and physical suppleness. So he's saying once you achieve this ninth one, equipoise, then when you kind of extend and deepen that meditation repeatedly over time, then you achieve mental and physical suppleness accompanied by great bliss. And that's serenity meditation.
Then you got shamatha.
Shamatha, yeah.
Okay, now you got it? Now you got now you guys just meditation check. Just did 9.
That's good.
First one, focus, draw.
Placement.
Then second one, you say continue. Third one, if you forget, you come again, draw. Then fourth one, we say a little bit better, maybe more objects, draw. Then 5 one, we say if you have the what we call short.
The laxity and excitement.
Yeah. If they come in, you can think about qualities. We call it.
Concentration.
Concentration. Then you can we call it.
You can discipline.
Discipline.
Duce.
Doche. Then 6 ones. Then Gepa coming or Gepa.
So excitement.
He's coming. You can check the navi nyingla tene.
Yeah. You can the faults of distraction or wavering from the object.
Some man doesn't want to meditation. This man go away. Then number Shiva means anything is going to see though. If you have some attachment, unhappy, immediately you pass by.
This is like really pacifying.
Then 8 one you have to little bit hard walk in meditation.
Yeah.
Then 9 one, not too hard walk. However you want to meditate, you can do. Then during that time, you're feeling very happy to mind and body, physical, very special happy. There, what we call it? Bhapam is what?
Yeah. So you'll have like chicken skin, goosebumps.
Yeah, goosebumps come up, stand up.
Yeah.
Then you got shamatha.
Great.
This is you can shamatha. What we call it? Stable mind.
Yeah.
Then you can meditation, whatever. Then up there, lot of things. Now we don't have to go. Also, in our system say, too detailed.
Yeah. So there's like both subtle and gross forms of laxity and excitement, which Sultram mentioned, but he's saying like that's too much detail.
If you want to be interested, you can read day 21.
Yeah. Or you can read volume 3, part 1 of the Lamation.
Yeah, this is what I also
Very good book on shamatha.
Yeah. Everybody loves Shamatha.
Attention revolution.
Everybody understand a little bit?
Yeah.
Everybody write down that.
Yeah.
Then you can read thinking again. Then you try to learn meditation. Before the 9th day,
Yeah, before we reach any of these stages, we have to know the method of reaching them.
Then you meditation. First you have to some what called object. First you think it and meditation. If you want block or not, up to you. Anyway, up to mind come down. But when your mind is very relaxed, then it's very easy to. Then you can meditate. If you really like, you can just visualization. Also, sometimes you have to visualize your mind. This is the best one.
As a mikpa, right?
Yeah, the best one.
So he's saying like the best object of observation is actually your own mind.
But this is our, I don't know you guys, my level is not available.
Yeah.
You
can control.
You can see big Buddha statue for that. You can watch that. This is more easy, no? There are some big than me, man brother said that. Small one is difficult. Then you can hear one by one. Of course you have come. 100% you have this guy coming. Shiva, 100%, Gepa, 100% coming.
Yeah.
During that time, you,
He's talking about laxity and excitement.
yeah. And also something you forget. You forget your mind. Just you see statue, big statue there. Other man come, you check mind. Where's mind? Maybe mind goes some other place. Maybe he doesn't think anything. This is, I don't know, me, this happen. Sometimes I see something. Then I check my mind. Mind doesn't think it is what I see the object. Mind doesn't think this. Mind should go some other place. Or sometimes mind doesn't think anything. It's everybody. Yeah. This is a true tough shit.
Yeah, these are methods. These are methods we have to know.
Okay, if you need to more, then is a worker. Shiva Tamara. This is too difficult.
Yeah. It's gross and subtle. Gross and subtle laxity and excitement. It's too much.
But he talks about it in day 21, doesn't it?
But
That's
they
what
don't
he's
want
saying.
them more details.
Right. It talks about
Or
it.
volume 3 of Lamrim Chenma,
Yeah.
part 1. It's awesome. You guys should all read it.
Once you get to 1 and 2.
Huh?
After volume 1 and 2.
Yes.
No. Torwa Shepa Tena Chutangin Gomgonra, Shinwato Gepani Yona, Shinwato Gepani Yona, Tangin the Yondo Samne, Ta Gawati Gonres.
Dual. Yeah, yeah, discipline. Dual.
Ta Gawati, Ta Shiwato Gepani Mewato Gonres. Shiwato Gepa Chutangin the Gomonra, then Shiwato Gepa Yongonra. Ta Tiondo Chutangin the Yondam Samne, Shiwato Gepani Mepato Gonres. Shiwato Gepani Chutangin the Yondam Samne, Chote Gomsamra. Gomsamdi, Shiwato Gepani Rashku Menjonra. Gomja, the Gomja, Churang, Chini Mar Gomyonra. Chutangin the Yondam Samna, Chote Gomosum Lotigar Menjonra. Chuchiga Gana, Chuga Gana, Chunaka Legend draw the letter. The Chutangin the Yondam Samna, and then Shawataya, Choni Kuna, near Samu, Chulaka. Tamuro had the Chunin Mukuga, Monica, or Chutang the Yotangana, Choni Pumar. Tad Chutang the Yotazana, choose some philologian march, Chutamu had not you that done the Chushaka John Mara, or teaching you never hinders.
Okay, so this go, Gonda.
What did he talk about? Maybe he talks some secrets.
So basically, this is number 5 again. They're talking about the disciplining, and you were asking basically what's it disciplining, and he is saying like when you have the laxity and excitement come up, basically you're thinking of the good qualities of the meditation, because the problem mainly at that time is you're losing the emphasis, like the enjoyment of the meditation. So if you think of the good qualities of meditation, it's kind of like buoys you, like you feel some energy again come up to regain your focus, and those laxity and excitement disappear. So it's a matter of just counteracting that. And then I think what were you saying as the example? The movie? Like what?
Yeah. If you are excited,
Yeah.
you interest, then you will not sleep.
Yeah. So
You see some very exciting movie, your mind doesn't go other place, you
Yeah.
just focus there.
So this is a very, if you ask me, this is a very like insightful and skillful use of psychology, really, because they're saying like if you consider again and again the qualities of achieving the meditation, the natural interest in it will arise, and then you can keep doing it. If you have no interest, if you lose the interest in doing the meditation, it's very easy to waver or to get sleepy or to start thinking of other things. But if you think again and again, like, wow, the single point of concentration has these great qualities, you feel like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Like, I'm going to achieve it. So.
단단 너 가이나 다 가냐 지금 요스로 와. 지금 삼대 람보치 녀바레스.
Yeah. I've heard this before.
Where this? I don't know which one.
This is in a sutra somewhere. I don't know which one
I don't know
either.
where, yeah.
But the mind is like a crazy elephant.
Then,
Oh, I've heard that.
Chojuk no. Chojuk, this is in the Bodhicharya Avatar.
Yeah,
actually.
Tie into a post.
Yes.
yeah, I don't know what kind of, which text they say. Mind is the elephant,
Yeah, crazy elephant.
queen elephant, then Shamatha
Rampaging elephant.
is what's a takpa,
Yeah.
kawa,
Takpa.
Yeah.
So a rope.
rope,
Shamatha is a rope.
rope in the, what's that?
State.
Launch in number, taya takpa no chibaris,
Yeah, yeah.
takpa no kawa chibaris,
Yeah. So
takpa no
the
kawa no.
yeah. So the mind is like a crazy elephant, and shamatha is like a strong rope that binds it to keep it from roaming around.
You cannot go right.
Yes.
Shamatha.
Just if you're ground.
Okay? Then what Pema?
Lelo yoga.
Yeah.
Lelo ke ang ni ba.
Lelo ka niba?
Lelo ke ang ni ba. Yang dewa dewa. Lelo chira lelo hidi toso.
Ah.
Lelo nanga tambo te ba yin le. Ni ba.
Dumba.
Dumba, dumba.
Dumba.
Ah.
Dumba.
dumba na ta te thomdo kusamba junara. Te yendo kusamba.
Dopa.
Ya dopa no ya.
Dopa.
Wow, dumba.
Dopa.
Dumba. Chiba. Oh,
Ya
dumba.
dumba ya dumba.
Chibaribe. Okay. Anyway.
Ya dopa no ya.
They are like clarifying
Yeah.
to make sure they understand each other's terms. I think.
Ya dumba te thomdo kusamba.
응.
Te thonde ni sam junara.
Yeah.
They're talking about the term, like I said, was like longing, but she was asking, what is that? And then he was giving different terms for it. So it's not a substantive.
Are you guys meditation? You can usually meditate, then you can check. This is not only first. If you do meditation, bodhicitta, compassion, then first you can think about what's it, bodhicitta, some mind. Then this, again, if you forget, come back, then some other things you can think about qualities to bodhicitta. All of it, not just will come with shamatha.
Yeah.
You can go all that divides meditation, okay?
Did you guys get that? So these are like principles which can be applied to any form of meditation. I mean, you can do concentrative meditation on, a form of concentrated meditation for any of the other ones. So like he's saying bodhicitta, but I think the same would apply for death, chiwadami takpa, midu rinpoche, like all of the other stuff in Mamrim, the precious human rebirth, death and impermanence, like, so you can apply the same principles.
That's analytical meditation.
No. They don't have to be analytical. Once you understand what death is, you can just focus on it as an object.
What's the point?
Make it stronger in your mind. The same, like the like wisdom, like whatever the emptiness, right? When you do analytical meditation to realize emptiness, that's not the end. You need to do later a lot of shine on that, a lot of serenity, like focused meditation on it. These two, shine and laktong, they go together, right? In the end, you have to have them both. So it's not like when they say something is analytical versus concentrative. I think what they're talking about is mainly the way that you get to realize the object of it. So for death and impermanence, you have to think about it a bit in order to understand it. But once you have the object realized, you can focus on it.
When it's realized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But death is
Where-
easy to
where does
realize.
that come?
That's not hard to realize.
If you want to fight someone, you very good concentration.
Oh yeah.
How would you focus on death though? I mean, once the subject, an object.
You know
say
those nine.
Yeah, but let's say a statue,
Yeah.
keep coming back to the statue, what would you think of a dead person?
No.
What would you think about?
I will let him answer. I'm sorry, I starting to answer for Geshe. Go ahead. Kade kirang chua la kirang mikba yuna dine kandes tinghe zinche tu gime.
처음부터 고마 가르쳐. 거기도 그렇게 좀 말이야. 저 고마디 나도 추 로가 추려서 답시로 왔어.
아.
뭐세?
로가.
Mind go to virtues. we said, when we death, whose benefit? Only virtues, right? We said, virtues.
Yeah. So when we think of death, right?
Yeah, when we take that, then we said, why? We say, I'm not die. Then you think, why I'm not die? The first three, then the three has
each three has
each three.
Yeah.
Then these things, then you have to focus on more virtues.
That's analytical.
I think the question she's having is like, so if you, those 9 points, right, for death, those are like chegong, right?
Yeah, this is the check. Yeah, check. You check.
Dine?
This is I said this is not you meditation thing is it?
이네 디 그래 치외 제공 제제라 dine kiran kare shagum chetukingbe chiwa.
대 shagum 제어 제거해요 말이죠. 지와 가디 맞다고. 봐. 또 지와 맞다고요. 공초라 지와 맞다가. 다 디콜 상부터. They not talk about you can was a to shamatha.
So he's saying like I'm wrong actually. So you can't do shamatha for those. That's what
It's not said to shamatha. But same is you, whatever your object, you think about it. First you focus there, you forget again.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so he's saying like the meditation when you use these principles in another meditation, in order to maintain your focus on the object of meditation, it's the same principles. But
detailed
and more details.
But you wouldn't call that shamatha.
Yeah, we are not.
So, but he's saying.
But no, every analytical meditation is only analytical until you understand it truly, and then when you understand it truly, it ceases to be analytical and becomes single-pointed meditation.
Yeah, this is what my understanding is too.
What is that state?
But so analytical meditation has to do with you determining something to be true and to understand it. So when those 9 points of death are true, you no longer have to do any work to understand them.
Right.
Then you're no longer analyzing anything, even if you're looking over those points. They're true to you.
So death could come at any time. So if I understand that, so then once I get to a point of calm meditation, what does that feel like?
No.
Once the mind stops realizing.
No.
Once I
Let's
realize
let
that,
No.
Why?
Why?
When you stay in that state, what do you think of?
Why death coming? Then
Death can come at any time. So
Death can come at any time.
why?
치외 드 나서 야고 하고면도.
뭐?
이네 가데 디 야고 하고나 드네 카레 샤곰 체tukingbe. 샘디.
성취도 말 당분간도 제적으로 예세서 정성당으로. First we said death coming 100%, right?
Right.
Why?
Because we don't know when it's coming.
No. Why death coming? We said death coming,
Right.
but why? What is it?
Because everybody does.
Nobody's escaped death.
Nobody escapes
Nobody's
escape
escaped
death,
death.
except for Guru.
이네 규진 하고나.
You know the reason. Jesus some touch about guru.
Yeah.
Then what benefit you meditation this? You have to do some virtues.
Yeah. So he's saying like once you know the reason for these 9 meditations, once you understand all of those reasons or whatever, what's the point of doing the meditation anymore after that? So once you've meditated them and you understand like reason 1, reason 2, reason 3, and now you know that, you understand it, why would you do it more? And he's saying this is a method of generating virtue. Because by doing those, your mind turns to virtue.
Shine is the method of doing virtue.
No. The meditation on those, repeated meditation on the topic of death, even though you've already understood like all of the reasons why it's going to come, you still go back and meditate on it again, even though you already understand that.
But can you have a state of calm abiding about death? Because Geshe, like you first said, that you don't have to have an object, you can have a topic. So how do you come to calm abiding about a topic such as death?
가데
without
키랑
being analytical?
신의 제도 키랑 mikpo 고기도라. 드네 mikpo 딜라 참참 디 람림기 가데 topics라. 디 치와 당이다가 배치탕 단투기베.
전소 떠나는 게 신의 검게 제가 맞다. 그래서 제가도 못하고 겁나야 신의 검만 나지 지네. you forget, you have to come again. If you know, Gonya Matuna, Gonya Matuna, she will give her that Chuba Kajan, and they Chinikum Lagamas.
So he's saying like
We
what?
are not talking about meditation to words of Shamatha.
Yeah, the point that he's making is like what I said before. When you're doing meditations, before you even do shamatha, before you even get to this level, when you're doing those other meditations on death and impermanence, you can apply all of these principles to those meditations as well. You need to be able to place your mind on the object. So if you're sitting down to meditate on the time of death is unsure, for example, if you sit down and you think, okay, the time of death is unsure, and then you start, doing your meditation on that, and then soon you're thinking like, like what did she say to me yesterday in the office, and I wonder what I'll wear tomorrow. You need to be able to pull your mind back to the object. Plus, when you're thinking about the time of death is unsure, you may also get sleepy and start to fall asleep. So you can apply the antidotes to that. And you can do all of these things that he taught here. The principles can be applied to any other meditation. But he said we wouldn't call that shamatha. You don't need to call that shamatha.
What is it called?
That's called meditation.
Meditation to
meditation on death and impermanence.
Yeah. But the principles then can be applied to analytical meditation.
Yes.
Which I think was the question a long time ago.
I think that's probably right. The shagungi kare the list the rock the chegum nangla page tangtugi right. Yeah, so he's saying you can use these for both the focusing like meditation and also for analytical meditation. These principles equally apply to both. So
we said 100% that's coming. Everybody said that. We don't understand real. We said we did that. Everybody is scared to death. Right? Everybody understand after we dead just only benefit for virtues. But we didn't do it. Everybody said, I'm not dead tomorrow. Everybody just think it. We say, Daddy, I just come. It's nature. But we doesn't think tomorrow we dead. We don't know. Right? We meditation, we exactly think about what's that? Touching of something. What's that? Touching of something over then. Anyway, three then different.
So the names, whatever, I can't remember the names either myself, but there are the 3 divisions of the 9 cycles of death meditation or whatever, and he's saying like everybody understands them. They say, oh yeah, I know, like death is certain and the time of death is unsure and nothing will help me at death except for virtues. Like we all know that. We say that easily, but the result of those meditations is that if you really have realized that, is that you do nothing but amass virtue and purify negativities. But we don't do that. So that means we haven't understood it. So you need to go back and apply some real principles to the meditation session to be able to hold the object and then to be able to stay on it until you open it up and understand it. So even in the analytical meditation, you have to be able to remember you're analyzing this object. That's like a focus in a way. It's not a focused meditation, but it has to have some focus in it in order to work.
Last week when we were talking about emptiness, we were talking about conceptual understanding and a non-conceptual understanding. Does that also, in a loose way at least, apply to other topics of meditation, like death? I think we just made the point. I mean, look, death is certain. I mean, is anybody going to put up an argument? I mean, so more or less, it's kind of easier to form, a conceptual understanding. But even though you have a magnificent conceptual understanding, you still behave like you're going to live forever. So, I mean, is there that with the 2 trees rubbing, where they, the friction, they combust? Is there something like a non-conceptual understanding of each of the stages along the path, of the stages of meditation?
아마 나서 동이 도배 시럽 걸 계시시도 디 동이 도배 시럽 근데 동이 토파 니 요래 도배 토파 당 도매 토파 그러 근데 지외 토파 지거래 도매 당 도배 토파 요래 지워 당이 다파 Chibodam Mitagwa Togna?
Yeah.
Togme
Yeah.
Tokpa?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying they have
Yes,
both, like non-conceptual and conceptual, both for that. I think for any objects that you think about.
Delord said, we said, 100% we dead. Nobody live here. This we understand. This is Topa.
Yeah, so he's saying that's a conceptual understanding. When we all agree, yeah, of course, we're gonna die. That's conceptual. Yeah.
Then we exactly see that what you call it?
Yeah, there's no intermediary. There's a difference between understanding, like by thinking about something, and really knowing it. And the non-conceptual one is like it's an unmitigable certainty. Like there's no intermediary between you and death. Like death isn't an abstraction. So when you have a conceptual understanding, everything is understood through abstraction. So death seems like an abstraction, to me at least. I don't know, maybe it's the same for you or maybe not, but it seems like an abstraction. It's something out there that's somewhere else. When you have a direct realization, it's not an abstraction, it's like real. You know it for sure.
Like shivering on a cold day. That's an example of not abstraction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
이나 철거섬나 조사다 철거섬 철거로
Anyway,
그
what they are talking about is Pamela's question, if I understand correctly. You are asking about if you take the mind as an object of observation, right? And if you take the mind as an object of observation, he was saying like that's the best object of observation to take. And then she was raising the question about whether it matters, what kind of mind it is. And last week we talked about the difference between Buddhist and non-Buddhist serenity meditation, being that Buddhists have a virtuous object of observation. So like they have a virtuous mind that they must observe like as an object of observation, right? Is the question. And then you are asking like which mind is the virtuous mind, or are you observing the mind, or are you observing the virtue, or like, right? This kind of thing. You are kind of trying. She's kind of making a like fine distinction between whether you are observing the virtue of the mind or the mind itself, whether it's virtue or not virtue, and it seems like there may be some complication there. And then Geshe-la was making an argument. Well, if you've gone for refuge, if you have refuge, right, then the mind is a virtuous mind, right?
No, that kind of mind. That kind of mind. What kind of virtues may they know the refuge mind?
Yeah. So this has to do with like when you said before we even do the session, before we even start the meditation, the first thing we do is like the offering, and then you have to fix the motivation and those kind of things. So even though you don't focus on the motivation at the time of doing the shamatha, but because you prepared, the mind is virtuous. Is that right?
Preparation.
What is that?
So before you begin, then kare di kunong tang di choba di sama chejela, dine yang shine gotu gure, dine di kunong yapu yuna, dine sem gewarwa. Yeah. So then it's not really like you have to keep thinking again and again, like virtue mind. But you just, once you set the...
You don't need to think about always virtue mind.
What's
the virtue mind? You have to keep that Chemba.
Chemba, yeah.
Chemba Sungu.
Yeah.
You know, the mother.
Yeah. So he's saying like what keeps the mind of virtue is that mindfulness. The hand, like with the mala, that operates from the beginning of the session on to keep the mind virtuous. So obviously I think there's probably, you can lose that though, right?
Yeah,
because
you can lose.
That's why you have to have...
When you lose, then come back.
Yeah.
You know, Larte Joba.
Yeah.
The second, third one, you know.
Yeah.
Larte Joba.
So being able
also,
to...
second one, Jepa.
Yeah.
Dhamma Jepa means you Chemba Jepa.
Yeah.
If you get you lost.
So he's saying like the second one... He's saying the second one, forgetting the instruction, that can also mean like losing your mindfulness. And then the third one, returning, it was called like returning placement, or placement that comes back. So that's like when you lose the mindfulness during the meditation, you're able to return it back, like bring it back onto the object. So the point is like when you have a virtuous, I think the final point of the back and forth is when you have a virtuous like reason for doing the meditation. So you've gone for refuge, and the whole thing about thinking about the qualities of the meditation, all of it has to do with like achieving enlightenment. So you have a virtuous mind when you're doing this meditation, if those are the techniques that you're using to keep yourself focused or to bring yourself back or to disperse laxity and excitement. So you don't have to continually go back again and again and be like, oh, virtuous. Once you set it up at the beginning, then because your mindfulness keeps bringing you back to the meditation at hand, you're maintaining the virtue. So.
Okay, now it's time. Yeah, it is too late.
No homework, Krishna?
Sorry.
No. I have homework here. No. But anyway, everybody think also if you read Ted 21. Maybe Pema Vicho Debstro. 그때 로다 템때
Orang
고도
sendiri nyambung.
아
Orang sendiri nyambung.
그래
Orang sendiri nyambung.
감 대화식이 냐고
Orang tu sendiri nyambung.
다 데카 다 가와 데카 가와 그러니까 딜라마 봐라
Gilama.
Lama.
Gilama.
talk about 딜라마
네네네.
what is it
Uttara Tantra.
Uttarakhand. Anyway, we stop.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe.
Turning to page 8, short